Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online regulation C VGC ladder in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and provide live commentary as I go. In this video, I'll be featuring a rank number 1 team with Rabsca. Rabsca is a really interesting choice because it gets access to Revival Blessing, allowing you to heal up a fainted teammate. If you throw a Leppa Berry on it, you're actually able to use Revival Blessing twice, so you can heal up to 2 fainted teammates with this set in particular. I haven't featured Rabsca throughout Scarlet and Violet. Revival Blessing is obviously an incredibly interesting move, so I'm eager to see how it can perform on this team. As always, I'll do a quick breakdown of the team, but if you want to just skip to the battles, check out the timestamps down in the description below. And thanks so much as always for joining me. If you enjoy, I'd really appreciate it if you consider leaving a like on the video or subscribing to the channel. It really helps out a ton. Anyway, let's jump into things. The first Pokemon to highlight on this team is Rabsca. Now, Rabsca, as I mentioned, is interesting because you want to use it for Revival Blessing to heal up your fainted teammates. The key observation I've had while using this is I generally don't lead Rabsca, because if you lead Rabsca, then it's a lot less likely that Pokemon will faint around it quickly enough, and your opponents can play smartly around it and essentially focus down Rabsca rather than its teammates. But if you keep Rabsca in the back, then it's a lot more likely that you'll actually get Revival Blessing off. The rest of the moves here are pretty standard. Psychic, Trick Room, Protect. One thing I'll call out is that Psychic honestly does a significant amount of damage with it, with base 115 special attack. I'm always kind of caught off guard by it, so that's one of the valuable things about Rabsca. It actually does damage, but you're mainly using it for Revival Blessing, and you don't have to use Trick Room to use Revival Blessing, but one thing that's really nice is when you set up Trick Room, your opponents will try to stall out Trick Room by protecting, and you can take advantage of that with Revival Blessing. Rabsca is one of those Pokemon that often can be very good to bring at the very end, because at that point, multiple Pokemon will have fainted, so you can use Revival Blessing to heal up multiple rather than just using it once, which I think is really cool. This team has a lot of offense, and you have Pelipper plus the Azumarill here. Azumarill, Water Terra, huge power Life Orb with Liquidation in the range, just does so much damage to everything. So pretty self-explanatory here. Life Orb is just so nice, and Play Rough gives you incredible coverage, especially given there are a lot of Dark-type Pokemon with the Treasures of Ruin in this format as well. Pelipper is used to boost up Azumarill's damage output. It also gives you immunity into ground-type attacks, and Hydro Pump and Hurricane just do a ton of damage. Chilling Water is a pretty cool tech here over something like Tailwind. Tailwind isn't as necessary with this team, and Chilling Water is really nice in 1, having an 100% accurate Water-type attack, and 2, having a way to decrease your opponent's attack. The original version of this team has a Mungus over Rabsca. Rabsca obviously is a pretty significant replacement and changes how you play with things, and so without having a Clear Smog Mungus on the team, I think having Chilling Water to decrease Dondozo's attack can be fairly valuable. To round out the team, you've got Assault Vest, Grass Terra, Iron Hands. This is fairly self-explanatory. You've got a lot of attack investment and a little bit of speed as well to just outspeed those opposing Iron Hands with no speed investment. Choice Scarf Gholdengo, which is used to outspeed opposing Flutter Manes that are Choice Specs or Special Attack Booster Energy. The idea is that you can just pressure them with Steel Terra, Choice Scarf, Make It Rain, and get a one-hit knockout onto those Pokemon. And Thunderbolt and Power Gem give you some good coverage as well. And then finally, Flutter Mane here with the Booster Energy. This is max HP, max defense Trick Room Flutter Mane, so it takes a lot of physical attacks that your opponents generally won't anticipate, and of course is able to pressure with Trick Room while still dealing pretty significant damage thanks to the Booster Energy boosting special attack. In terms of modes that you can play with this team, I think like Iron Hands and Flutter Mane are just pressure fake out plus Trick Room immediately is really strong. Pelipper Azumarill is really strong, where you just set up the rain for Azumarill, Terra this, and start dealing a lot of damage. Gholdengo Hands, Gholdengo Pelipper, Gholdengo Flutter Mane, Gholdengo Azumarill. I think I've led all of those at some point with this team as well. The main thing, like I mentioned, to keep in mind is I think you should keep Rabsca in the back unless you have a really good reason to lead it, because otherwise it's just hard to get good value out of Revival Blessing. So yeah, that's it for a quick breakdown. Let's quickly highlight some weaknesses. So in terms of weaknesses, I think the first thing to notice with Rabsca, as I mentioned, with Revival Blessing, this Pokemon just isn't as effective if you don't already have Pokemon that are knocked out. Of course, one thing to notice, Revival Blessing only heals up to 50%, and so I've had games where maybe I get healing up, but because my opponent just naturally outspeeds me, for example, outside of Trick Room, and I haven't set up Trick Room, or they stall out my Trick Room, and then I bring out the Revive Pokemon, and it just faints afterwards because it's only a half health. That's one thing to keep in mind, where obviously a Pokemon at 50% can't necessarily survive the attacks from the opposing side. So That's one thing that's giving me some trouble. Taunt can be a little bit annoying for Rabsca and Flutter Mane to deny Trick Room. Trick Room feels like a pretty essential part of this team. You don't always need it to win battles, but I have clicked Trick Room a lot while using this team, so having Taunt to deny that outright obviously can be pretty annoying. Scarf Gholdengo is one of those Pokemon that can look so good, but can also look so bad if your opponents like play well around this, so having things that resist Make It Rain in general are valuable. Wide Guard I think is pretty strong against Gholdengo and Flutter Mane in particular because they rely on Make It Rain and Dazzling Gleam often, so that's one thing to pay attention to. If you don't bring Pelipper, the team is incredibly weak to ground type attacks in general, and so I played one match where I was up against a Choice Band Ting-Lu, and I ended up not using my Terra on Iron Hands, and, you know, by not using Grass Terra, it was just able to do so much, Ting-Lu was able to do so much damage to everything on the team, which was really scary. And for Azumarill, it relies, you know, pretty heavily on the water type attacks. Play Rest is pretty good, but if you have a Pokemon that can take water type attacks well, then Azumarill gets walled a little bit more, and Azumarill's Terra is water, and so I had one game where I went up against like a Choice Band Trailblaze Scizor, and it just almost one-shot Azumarill, and after Life Orb, Azumarill just fainted. So that was really wild, but the point I wanted to make there is having a really strong, super effective Grass or Electric type attack to threaten this Pokemon can be valuable because there's no Terra that allows you to get around that. So yeah, and for Pelipper, opposing weather obviously can be pretty scary as well. So those are just a couple of things I've noted. Let's get into these games. Alright, we've got Dondozo, Tatsu, Chiyu, Flutter, Dragonite, Glamora. This is basically one of the most standard comps with Dondozo right now. So, against Dozo, it's pretty tricky without Amoonguss, because we don't have Clear Smog. So, I like Scarf Gholdengo. I think this is where Chilling Water is really interesting on Pelipper. Use it to just decrease Dozo's damage output. You can use Rabsca to revive. Just question if it's Grass Terra Terra Blast. But if it is Grass Terra Terra Blast, then Pelipper can put in work. I think I'm going to go Pelipper Gholdengo, Hands plus Rabsca. The idea is Hands covers for regular Dozo. I can Grass Terra defensively against it. If you end up being Grass Terra on the Dozo, then Hurricane from Pelipper becomes more valuable. Rabsca can revive something and give me more firepower as well. But yeah, normally with this team, you have Amoonguss over Rabsca, and Amoonguss is used to clear Smog Dozo, but here we obviously don't have Amoonguss. So it'll make things a little bit more interesting. Okay, Glamora and Dondozo. I personally don't mind a Make It Rain plus a Chilling Water to try to eliminate Gholdengo. I think I'd rather Hurricane that slot to cover for Grass Terra. They're going to commit the Terra on turn 1, okay. If it's Grass Terra Gholdengo and we eliminate it, that would make me very happy. And it is Terra Gholdengo, okay. Or sorry, Terra Glamora. Nice. That's not a bad start. Make It Rain off. That is definitely not Assault Vest Glamora. They go for Toxic. Okay. Toxic is fine. Like, I mean, we get some pretty good damage off on turn 1. The fact we knock out Glamora here is huge. I was worried about it being super specially defensive and actually surviving this combo. But getting that knockout immediately is really nice. Bulldoze? What? Wow. That is interesting. Okay. Problem now is Wave Crash from Dozo definitely hurts. And is it leftovers? No, it looks like they're just deciding on who to switch in. Bulldoze non-lefties Dondozo. Interesting. The upside for me now is Hands can obviously hit that for super effective, and you can't Terra, and they actually bring out Chi-Yu. Okay. Not what I expected. I think switching into Hands here is fine. Yeah, I want to just switch into Hands and Hydro Pump here, I think. My main question right now is who do I want to Terra? Because if they eliminate Pelipper, then I can just go fake out Trick Room. Okay, Chi protects. Which means I could fake out Hydro Pump that slot next turn. I think what's scary here is if they end up wave crashing into hands, that'll actually do a pretty sizable amount. Yeah, good play. Less than half actually, so not as bad as I thought. Okay, I'll take that. I think the fear right now is they could switch in Tatsugiri, right? You could go hand or Chiyu into Tatsu and then go from there. But I have Scarf T-Bolt. Quite frankly, if I were my opponent, I would be pivoting this out into Tatsu, but I could also see them protecting here and then Dark Pulsing Pelipper. Fake out into this slot is pretty safe, though. I'm going to fake out Chilling Water Dondozo. Nice, they switch out. Okay, that's a huge play for us. Oh, that's not Tatsu quick. Wow. Booster Flutter instead. Okay. Very interesting. This game has not played out how I've expected it to play it out. I'm very curious about this Dondozo set in general. Trick Room is looking really good right now if I can set it up. Citrus Dozo. Okay. And obviously Terra the hands right now. If I Terra, though, it means I can't Terra Rabsca, which means Shadow Ball will hit me, but I think it's okay. I'm going to go into Gholdengo here. Hurricane to Dondozo. They have Hex. Okay, that makes sense. KO's Pelipper. You're at -1 with Dondozo, and they go for Yawn. So Yawn Bulldoze Wave Crash. Yeah, I'm sure it's Storm Drain Tatsugiri now. But yeah, I think what this means is I can bring out Rabsca, and I can Terra it, and I can go for Trick Room. So I'm going to actually stay in with Scarf Gholdengo here because they have a speed boost on Flutter, so we actually outspeed this. So I'm down to just click Make It Rain here. Terra to make sure I don't faint from Shadow Ball plus Wave Crash, and then just Trick Room. Yeah, I like that a lot here. And then I can start reviving, which I think is really sick here. So this was an interesting game because they ended up committing their Terra early. They ended up not having Assault Vest and Glamora was toxic, and then the Dondozo was a very obscure set with Citrus Berry Bulldoze. And very likely, it's not even Commander Tatsugiri in the back. Actually, I say that, but if you're running Toxic, I think it probably still is Commander Tatsu. Because otherwise, it's a lot less effective to actually stall with Toxic. But it was interesting my opponent prioritized Toxic on turn 1 rather than something like a Power Gem. That turn 1 play in general caught me off guard a little bit, but we're going to steal Terra Rabsca here. Okay. Flutter protects, but that's fine. Because essentially, if you're my opponent, you need 2 Wave Crashes and a Gholdengo. I'm not even sure that knocks out, given the Chilling Water. Oh, interesting. They actually go for Yawn onto Rabsca. Okay. Works for me. My opponent just doesn't really have that much good damage output right now, especially with Rain expiring, so I'm happy to just click Make It Rain here. Don't really need to revive Pelipper right now. If anything, I'd actually prefer to revive Gholdengo, so I think switching out into hands here feels okay. I mainly brought Pelipper for chilling water into Dondozo, because that was going to be my answer if they went Dondozo Tatsugiri. But because they didn't go with Tatsu here, it's not as effective or as important. So they're going to switch out into Chiyu, which is fine. Like, I'm not doing very much damage right now, but I'm slowly chipping away, and that counts in itself, right? Also, Iron Hands now should just sweep my opponent. So Dozo's moveset is Wave Crash, Bulldoze, Yawn, and Protect. Interesting. Okay. This also means now Scarf Gholdengo should sweep my opponent outside of Trick Room, which is good. So now I'm going to switch this back out into Rabsca, and I can use it to revive. I think the main debate here is with hands. Do I want to just Drain Punch into Chiyu? Because Wild Charge into this is super safe. And I'm going to go for Wild Charge here because we know Dondozo just protected, and exactly, this is the one thing I didn't want to fall for, which is them switching into Flutter Mane. By targeting the Dondozo slot, I cover for it switching out into Flutter, and Wild Charge should either KO Dozo if it stays in, or KO the Flutter if that switch... Actually, I might not KO Flutter if that switches in, but I do a lot of damage, right? So, they're going to click Yawn here, but that's fine. Yeah, this is, I think, the only way my opponent really had a great shot of winning. I suppose though if Chiyu had Heat Wave there and they just clicked it, that could have been pretty scary, but with us getting the knockout now, it should be really difficult for my opponent to win. Especially because now we have this like late game Scarf Gholdengo, which will outspeed their Flutter Mane. And their Chiyu will lower their Flutter Mane special defense as well. Two turns of Trick Room left. So, good opportunity to click Revival Blessing here. Now, if I'm my opponent, I'm protecting. Yeah, I'm fine clicking Revival Blessing here. Like, the main debate here is they might just actually attack with both of their Pokemon. Which is interesting. I'm going to read that they try to attack here and just Drain Punch Chiyu. Alright, Chiyu just goes for Protect, but that's okay, because if your Flutter knocks out my hands, I can just revive it again next turn, right? So, I don't think this Revival Blessing is really that important, but it's like, what else am I going to do with Rabsca this turn? In an ideal world, they Moonblast, KO the Iron Hands, I bring in the Pelipper, and then I just revive hands again and while Hydro Pumping the Chiyu. And there's Moonblast. Nice. So I'm actually going to get 2 Revival Blessings off in this game. That's sick. Yeah, so we'll bring out the Pelipper here. Well, obviously, I've got the Scarf Gholdengo just waiting to come out as well. I think the main debate I have is with Scarf Gholdengo, should I actually just click Chilling Water onto Chiyu instead of risking a Hydro Pump miss? Right now, I can Revival Blessing again. I honestly prefer Chilling Water here, because I know I have the Scarf Gholdengo late game win con at this point as well. But getting to revive 2 different Pokemon in this battle I think is really sick. So that's exactly what Rabsca can do. Alright, Hands is revived. Chilling Water can't miss. Oh, that almost just knocks out Chiyu. Perfect. Now Gholdengo should be positioned to just win. Pelipper faints. Ooh. Sub is cute, but I don't think it saves my opponent ultimately, because now what I'm going to do is just bring out Gholdengo. And we have Scarf Make It Rain, which will break the substitute. And this is where Trick Room is actually really important again, because I think I now just win the game with Hands plus Rabsca. Yeah, so I'll just click Make It Rain plus Trick Room, and then if you protect Chiyu, then it's Hands plus the Rabsca against Flutter plus Chiyu. Sub is the one move that could have saved my opponent there, though. Anything else, and I think we're good. So, that's cool to see. No, they actually don't cover for Scarf. Cool. So, that should immediately win us the game, because now it's Flutter plus... or Flutter against 3 Pokemon. Yeah, you needed to protect Chiyu there, I think. Because by protecting Chiyu, at least then, you've kind of forced me to potentially target it down the subsequent turn. But what a first game here for this team. They go for Hex. I'm not even sure that KOs. Oh, it does. Okay. I was curious about the damage calc there. But this Rabsca put in so much work for us throughout this game. It revived both Pelipper and the Iron Hands. By the way, with like Substitute, knowing my opponent at Substitute, that would beg for an interesting question of whether or not Hydro Pump would have been better to go for, right? Because it's like an 80% chance to just win immediately. And then there's no way Sub-Flutter can come back. But if Chiyu protects there, things get a little bit scarier. Now we can just Psychic into this and Wild Charge. And even if you're max HP defense, you're not surviving this. And we know it's not because it's plus speed booster Flutter. Psychic actually did way more than I expected there. Wow. I would have been a 2-hit knockout with the special defense drop. And there's Wild Charge. So, in this game, we ended up setting Trick Room up. We ended up healing, reviving 2 different Pokemon, and it was really crucial to revive both of those Pokemon, right? If I don't revive either, then it's a lot harder to win. But, yeah. It was a very unconventional Dondozo set. We got the turn 1 prediction obviously helped a lot, like eliminating Glamora made the game easier, but that was a really bulky and scary team. But I think Rabsca's really nice in a matchup like this, and I would have been curious to see if it was Storm Drain Tatsugiri, because I don't really think there's that much incentive for Storm Drain, quite frankly. I think it makes sense for it to still be Commander and then just have this like unique bulky Dozo set with Citrus rather than leftovers. But it's pretty interesting to see Bulldoze. With Bulldoze, I would actually also think that you are probably yeah, Commander Tatsugiri. I just don't think Storm Drain really offers that much on if you're running Toxic on Glamora. But basically, with the Bulldoze, then you can drop the opposing speeds of like Flutter Mane, for example, and Pokemon are faster than +2 Dozo, and then potentially outspeed them afterwards. But Rabsca is able to revive 2 different Pokemon in this game, so I'm very happy. Whoa. Okay. We've got Tropius and a Medicham here. We actually featured Medicham a while back, and the idea is that you can skill swap onto Ting-Lu. Although here, actually, there's no Lycanroc. With that team, it was no guard Lycanroc, so you skill swap no guard away and then get it onto the Ting-Lu. But here, it could just be pure power instead, right? Skill swap pure power onto Ting-Lu and let it do a lot of damage. Tropius gets access to wide guard, so you have to be very careful about that in particular. And Ting-Lu is going to be the primary offensive threat from my opponent's end. Very cool team here. Very cool team. I think I want to go with something like Hands, Pelipper, Rabsca, Azumarill. I think Gholdengo's not great here with Rotom, Gyarados, Ting-Lu, and potential wide guard from Tropius. I think Flutter's honestly really solid here. My fear about Flutter is that I just end up getting walled by like a Terra Ting-Lu, and I just like don't put on very much pressure with it. Whereas I think Pelipper enabling Azumarill here is really nice. If you're any Terra on Ting-Lu other than Water, then Liquidation, Life Orb in Rain, Water Terra boosted to so much damage. And if you are Water Terra, then that's why I brought Iron Hands. It covers for that with Wild Charge. So it's Medicham plus Ting-Lu to start. Okay. Yeah, this is fascinating. Don't want to lose my Sash here, but they could double up onto Hands. I could Grass Terra. I could switch out. If I commit my Grass Terra early, how bad does that punish me? Who else would I rather Terra in this battle? Azumarill, just for the damage output? Skill Swap is what I'm primarily worried about from this, but it could just fake out either Mon on turn 1. I guess losing Sash on Pelipper probably isn't the end of the world, though, so I'm down to just commit Fake Out onto Ting-Lu turn 1. And Hurricane into Medicham. Quick Guard! That's cool. No Terror on Ting-Lu or Switch. I'm sure it's Focus Sash Medicham here. Oh, it's actually bulky enough to survive Hurricane. I was gonna be like, if you're weakness policy, I am about to quit. Eject Medicham. Huh. Very, very interesting. What is that, Tropius? Oh my gosh. This is really happening. That's awesome. Stomping onto us. The lack of a Terra from this is what really surprises me. Okay, it's fine if we think because Rabsca can revive it, so I don't mind going for Drain Punch here. Hurricane onto you. There's the Terra. Here's the thing. Is it Terra, Ting-Lu, and if so, what type? Oh! Okay, Water Terra Tropius. It's a little bit concerning, I guess, but I can just Revival Blessing. This is such a fascinating game. It's not terrible damage from Hurricane. They're so slow with their Mons. Wow. I mean, I'll gladly take that. The fact Hands gets an attack off there is so beneficial for us. They just go for Leech Seed. Okay. Probably another Stomping. To me, this is an angle to just set up Trick Room with Rabsca and then sweep under Trick Room now. So I can bring out Rabsca. My only question is, does Chilling Water KO Ting-Lu from that range? Because I want to click Trick Room right now. Actually, I should Revival Blessing first here, right? I think. What does Trick Room benefit me? I guess, like, their team is pretty fast outside of... Well, I say fast, but this thing's actually really slow. Yeah, I'd actually just straight up go for Revival Blessing first, then. And... I don't know the Chilling Water calc here. I suspect Ting-Lu might be able to survive, but they're actually just going to switch anyway. Okay. That's Vivian? They brought all the cool mons here, so that's neat to see. Pelipper's damage output in this game, though, has been tremendous. Alright, they just keep clicking Leech Seed. I'm not too worried about Tropius right now. My goal is to just knock out everything around it. Like, yeah, you can heal up with Leech Seed, but I'll just be able to Revival Blessing my mons, right? I think the main debate I have right now is, do I want to set up Trick Room? But with Vivian coming out now, I think the answer is yes. But being able to heal up Hands is huge here, because it means I get a wild charge against the Tropius. What a fascinating team, though. Quick Guard plus Eject Button. Fascinating. Okay. Yeah, now I'm down to click Trick Room here. Kind of want to switch, but I think it's a little bit risky. Is it? I think my internal debate is what's stopping me from just clicking Trick Room and then switching out into Hands. Because the thing is, Pelipper's honestly not fainting anytime. Oh, they might have Hurricane on Vivian, actually. That's the answer. So actually we'll stay in here with Pelipper. I don't need Pelipper at this point. Okay. It's a good Pollen Puff. But we KO Vivian. I don't necessarily even need Trick Room from this position. I just thought it'd be nice if they Tailwinded with Vivian there. Giga Drain, okay. Right now, it's actually a little bit awkward that I've set up Trick Room because my Pokemon are actually faster than my opponents. But this covers for Medicham. And the main thing is, I think Azumarill and Hand should be pretty well positioned now in this endgame. Rabsca faints, but the fact that Rabsca was able to set up Trick Room and Revive was pretty crucial in this game. This Tropius is annoying, though. It's putting in work. Giga Drain, Leech Seed, Protect. I here want to bring out the Azumarill. Yeah. They should bring out Ting Lu. I don't know if that was actually a good Trick Room on my end, but it's like the fear of Metacham. Yeah, so Ting Lu comes out. And with that, I'm happy to just protect here. And go for a Hydro Pump onto here. I don't mind if they just KO Pelipper, because then it's a free switching into Iron Hands. But I just don't know what Tropius' last attack is. Leech Seed, Protect, Giga Drain. This Pokemon picked up a little bit in usage a few months ago online, but it's never really seen in-person tournament play, so I'm not as familiar with it just on average. I was guessing Wide Guard, personally. If it's Wide Guard, then they have no way to beat Iron Hands in this endgame. Alright, that's a really good turn for us. Hopefully we don't miss Hydro Pump here. Ugh. Okay. Maybe Chilling Water would have just gotten that knockout, but that's really rough. Because with that knocked out, Metacham comes out. It's pretty easy to KO that, and then we have Hands, Grass Terror, and just win the game from there. I think it's still okay, though. I'm gonna go... I think we have to conserve the Terra for Hands here. I'm going to go Aqua Jet and Chilling Water here. I just wonder if Chilling Water and Rain would have gotten the knockout. I didn't have to necessarily risk the Hydro Pump. But I've saw it as an 80% chance to just win immediately. They actually switched Ting Lu out. Okay. Is that a problem for me? I think that's fine. Because Giga Drain and or Leech Seed into Azumarill isn't too much of an issue right now. It is just annoying because this Tropius has stayed on the field. I didn't realize like Tropius would actually be the carry for my opponent. I think that's really fascinating. Go for Giga Drain. That's fine. Chilling Water. Just not really relevant. Okay. What a game here. What a game. Okay, Ting Lu comes back out. 2 turns of Trick Room. Have we seen the item on Ting Lu yet? All I got was a Drain Punch off into it earlier. We know Iron Hands actually outspeeds both of my opponent's Pokemon. Yeah, I mean, the Trick Room on my end ended up not being very strong. Like, I was thinking maybe Vivian would consider Tailwinding, so I wanted to cover for that, but I think if I were to replay this, I wouldn't have actually set up Trick Room. But I think it's still okay. I think in this spot, I want to go for a Protect here. And a Chilling Water onto you, so then I can Aqua Jet to finish you off, Grass Terra, Hands, and win Hands versus the Tropius 1v1. Okay, they have Rock Slide, so that's going to KO Pelipper, but it's still okay. Yeah. I think Grass Terra Hands, like holding my Terra all the way until the end here, should save me. Go for Leech Seed. Because now I just bring out Hands. Unless they have Fissure, there's no way they can get a one-hit knockout onto either of my Pokemon right now. So what I should be able to do is just click Fake Out into Tropius, Grass Terra you, and then Liquidation into you. And then I can just go for a Wild Charge plus a Play Rough onto Tropius. My only fear here is that Ting Lu actually has Protect, but I think if they had Protect, they would have gone for it already at this point. So, this game was wild, right? Because it's been like over 12 minutes and I just clicked Terra. But neither Pokemon Protect. Okay, perfect. There's Fake Out. I should have Aqua Jetted to cover for the flinch chance. Fortunately, no flinch. That was scary. That also looked like... That was definitely Choice Band damage. Wait, yeah, that totally makes sense on this team. Okay. But now it's a 2v1. I totally should have recognized it was banded because it's Vivian Ting Lu on this team. So band makes a lot of sense. That explains why they switched out earlier as well. Anyway, now I think we can just play rough plus wild charge. And my opponent ends up forfeiting. Okay. Wow. What a game that was. By the way, I think that game was probably worth playing out for at least one more turn for my opponent. I was thinking there's a win condition for them where Wild Charge does a lot of damage but doesn't get the knockout. I take so much recoil damage, and then they manage to actually KO me with the Giga Drain. I think that's probably fairly unlikely, but if they get a critical hit, then Hands Feints, for example, and then Azumarill misses Play Rough. One thing to note that I didn't realize during the battle, because I just didn't know what Tropius' base speed is that Tropius' base speed is exactly 51 and Azumarill is 50. So, assuming they're 31 speed Ivy and not a min-speed nature, they actually outspeed Azumarill. So if that scenario happened and I misplay rough, then the next turn they can just KO the Azumarill. I'm guessing my opponent was just thinking, okay, it's Grass Terra Hands against Tropius. I'm never really going to win this scenario. But because of the amount of damage and recoil that I actually take from Wild Charge, I think it would have been worth considering playing it out for one more turn. I could have considered Drain Punching that situation, I think. I actually didn't even discuss that as an option. If it were open team sheet and I saw my opponent's moveset and I saw that they didn't have Air Slash, for example, or any flying type attack, I think I'd actually first click Drain Punch there just to get a little bit of recovery and then start Wild Charging. And I actually am not sure I played that endgame optimally, so that's just some food for thought. I think it could have been worth playing out for at least one more turn from my opponent's perspective, because I didn't think the game was 100% over. The other thing is, if I were to replay that, I question my decision to actually click Trick Room in that mid game. I was just really worried about Metacham there, but knowing that my hands was already faster than Tropius and the Tinglu, I think setting up Trick Room actually worked against me. My opponent did a really good job getting Tinglu out, pressuring me, and then switching it out into that Metacham, and suddenly it made the Trick Room kind of completely useless on my end. So, yeah, obviously the game got a lot harder because I missed Hydro Pump, but that's just some food for thought. What I wanted to do was set up Trick Room, knock out Tinglu, and then Metacham is out under Trick Room, so just can't really do anything into any of my Pokemon, and save the hands for the end game. But because of the Hydro Pump miss, I had to get a little bit creative. So, that was a really wild game. Okay. I was looking through the first 4 Pokemon, and I was like, okay, Dondozo, Tatsugiri, Flutter, Chiyu, very standard. And then we hit the last 2, and it's Vaporeon, Breloom. That is fascinating. Breloom is terrifying as someone using Pelipper Azumarill. This is where I think the team not having Amoonguss feels really bad, just because Amoonguss would be incredible into Breloom, into Dondozo Tatsu, into Vaporeon. So, can I leverage Rabsca is my question. Right, in the first game I had today, I used Pelipper to Chilling Water. It wasn't actually super relevant because they didn't bring Tatsugiri, but that's kind of the strategy in bringing Pelipper. This might be a Trick Room game, honestly. Like, I'm thinking, what if I just go with Hands plus, like, Flutter immediately? The problem is if they go Chiyu plus Flutter. Okay, let's actually work backwards. Who do I not bring into this game? I think I definitely don't bring Azumarill. The thing is, I actually want to bring Gholdengo for the Flutter Chiyu lead. I think I need Pelipper. I need Hands. So maybe I go... Okay, yeah, I'm thinking Gholdengo, Pelipper. Rabsca, Hands. I mean, this is what I did last time as well, right? Against Dondozo. So I guess I'm actually not really changing too much here. Flutter is a little bit more tempting here because of Breloom. Both Breloom and Vaporeon are pretty scary here. Vaporeon being a really bulky water. Let's see what they go with. Okay, interesting. Vaporeon and Tatsugiri, huh. Got Rabsca, Hands in the back. We probably Terra Hands. I would think Tatsu protects here. But I've got this Thunderbolt. So I'm thinking just Thunderbolt, Hurricane immediately into Vaporeon. Because that also covers for it switching to Dondozo. They actually leave Tatsugiri just exposed. Wow. Nice play by them. Wow. Oh my gosh, it just KO. That is absolutely not how I expected turn 1 to play out. Holy moly. I took so much damage there. Wow, that is really cool. Okay. Okay. I think we gotta go Trick Room here. I think I just commit Grass Terra here. By the way, if I were to play this in a best of 3, Azumarill comes out every time in at one of the games, I think. That's so cool. Water Absorb, Storm Drain, Double Surf, and I set up the rain for my opponent. I love that. That's so cool. Okay, so let's go Trick Room here. Let's go Grass Terra. And then Fake Out into Tatsu so you can't heal up Vaporeon. I don't really care about Tatsu getting a Storm Drain boost because I can double up that slot. I really would have never seen that coming in Team Preview though, so yeah, that's really cool. Flutter, by the way, also a cool adjustment to think about because I can just pressure with a Fairy Terra, Booster Energy, Boosted Dazzling Gleam. So in a best of 3, the 2 Pokemon I didn't bring in this matchup actually could be really good, but the reason I prioritize bringing Pelipper into this matchup is because if it's regular Dondozo Tatsu, there's no way that KOs, right? Oh my gosh, Vaporeon honestly does so much more damage than I expected it to. Very impressive. Do I even want to Revival Bless anything right now? It's like... I think Iron Hands is amazing here. And I think this isn't too scary right now. So I honestly don't mind protecting. They don't have a Wild Charge answer right now. Sure, you're at +1 and Rain is up, but I'm Grass Terra and AV. Revival Blessing, for now, doesn't really contribute too much. If anything, I just don't know what they have in the back, but I think Revival Blessing Gholdengo is valuable. But for now, I actually think this turn I want to protect Rabsca. And then go for a Wild Charge to try to KO the Vaporeon. Okay, Tatsu switches. That's fine. Chiyu. Oh, that's Flutter. Booster is fine. Missed opportunity there then, though, to just get my Revival off immediately. Rabsca protects. No Tariff and Vaporeon does that protect. Nice, okay. Let's get that out of the way. I'm pretty sure that's Choice Specs Tatsugiri, given that it KO'd my... Pelipper? Rain boosted though, and it had a special attack boost. I'm not sure. Tatsu comes back out. That pressures with Draco Meteor, but I could Wild Charge into that slot pretty freely. I personally am thinking of going for Revival Blessing here to bring Gholdengo back. Especially because you're plus speed. My question is, how bulky are you? Do you survive Wild Charge? Because right now I could Psychic Wild Charge this slot. But if this protects, I could double up onto Tatsugiri. I'm gonna double up onto Tatsu. Ideally, Tatsu Terras here, and Flutter protects. Okay. Yep, that's fine. Is it? Oh, I should have Drain Punch to cover for Steel Terra. Okay, good. Man, if I Drain Punch, I would have won the game here, I think. I'm not sure I get this knockout. Oh, I think I do, actually, with how much Psychic did there. Let's see. Nice. Okay, perfect. Woof! No more Terra for you, and now I can double up onto Flutter for a KO, or I could Revival Blessing. I would expect Chiyu to be their last one. It could be Dozo, though. I mean, realistically, Flutter isn't a threat to Iron Hands right now. That's Chiyu. Okay. So given that you have Chiyu as your last, let's think about this scenario. 2 turns of Trick Room, last turn of Rain. This could be Focus Sash. We haven't seen a Sash quite yet. It was Specs on Tatsu, I believe. This could be Sash. Sash would actually be quite annoying for us right now. Heat Wave here is obviously a problem in itself. I think I prefer Revival Blessing here. And Drain Punch into Chiyu. Chiyu doesn't protect. Okay, if you're not sashed here, I think it's game over. I think it's got to be Scarf Gholdengo, right? Yeah. Okay, it's not sashed. Nice. I actually thought there was a world in which I lose this if they were sashed, because then you can get a KO onto Rabsca and then bring hands somewhat low with the Heat Wave plus a Moonblast. I guess realistically though, like, and they also click Shadow Ball. Okay. So then one of my questions is, does Heat Wave KO Rabsca and Rain? It probably does, right? It's super effective, but now it's game over. It's a 2v1, and obviously you can't really beat hands in this position. Part of me was like, maybe I go for the Revival onto Pelipper just so I can reset the Rain for the hands, because then hands could maybe solo both of my opponent's Pokemon. That might actually been worth considering, but now it's a 2v1. Just double check the board state. Last turn of Trick Room. So I'll go make it Rain and Wild Charge. Yeah, you can't beat both of my Pokemon. You can Shadow Ball to KO Gholdengo, but Revival into it was nice to just, you know, force it to target that slot. Because if you don't target that slot, you obviously just get KO'd. But 2 Wild Charges should just KO the Flutter. Like, my assumption is Flutter is... A lot of Flutters are running a lot of defensive investment these days. So, we'll go for the same play. Sash Chiyu is decently common. Like, I mainly thought that they had Breloom on the team, and Breloom I think is just a really good Sash user. It's kind of hard to put another item on it, so that was part of the reason why I had a little bit more conviction just clicking Drain Punch there. But what would have been awkward is if Chiyu protects there or it's Sash. If it protects, you KO the Rabsca, and I revive Gholdengo. Oh, Wild Charge would have KO'd. Okay. You know, let's actually do the damage calc here. Because this Iron Hands also has a lot more attack investment than a fair amount of AB Iron Hands. Like, some Iron Hands will run, like, admin nature, but maybe, like, 80 attack-ish EVs, but this one's near max attack. So, I think, given that, I wonder if I actually needed to be, like, play things as safely as I did. Because I could have just Wild Charged into the Flutter for a guaranteed KO and Revival Blessing. But, yeah. I think the deduction of thinking Sash was on Breloom is not a terrible assumption. Alright, it's been a fun day of Rabsca. Let's have one final game here. And what a team. Indeedee Armarouge, Bundle, Torkoal, T-Tar, and Annihilape. Fascinating. Bundle is the one that really sticks out to me here. I think this is probably weak armor, weakness policy on the Armarouge, and you're going to flip turn Bundle or Scarf Annihilape U-turn onto Armarouge. Man, if that is the case, what do I do? Trick Room is the approach I want to take. It's probably Grass Tower Armarouge. I might lead Rabsca in this one. Gholdengo. Pelipper Hands. Pelipper offensively looks so good here, right? So does Azumarill, though. Honestly, the lack of experience here, I think, against comps like this is making things really tricky for me. I mean, it's gotta be weak armor, weakness policy, right? But how can I take advantage of that is the question. Huh, they actually just go with Indeedee Armarouge. The idea of leading this, by the way, is to just be not as weak to psychic type attacks. What was my answer to Infinity Armor Rouge in general? Hand, Grass Terra, lead, I suppose. Pelipper, Azumarill. I could bluff wide card with Pelipper. It's honestly not a very good spot for me. Rabsca's in a really weird position right now. Man, I went for Protect Make It Rain. Like, the idea of Make It Rain is just to chip away at their end, and if they Armor Cannon, fine, I can revive Gholdengo later. Yep, there's Follow Me. I didn't want to go for a single target attack because of the threat of Follow Me. In an ideal world, I guess they Armor Cannon into Rabsca. I guess this is fine because I can just revive and then bring up Pelipper right now. But I think I tunnel visioned a little bit too much in Team Preview here, thinking they were going to go with Annihilate Armor Rouge or... Oh my gosh. It was just Life Orb Armor Rouge the whole time. So they weren't even the strategy I was thinking of with Flip Turn or Scarf U-Turn. Okay, we'll bring out Pelipper. I don't even necessarily want to set up Trick Room. Like, what they have in the back, if it's T-Tar or if Torkoal Annihilate, is really scary, quite frankly. Hurricane Psychic Armor Rouge. Yeah, just go for... I guess it's just Follow Me plus Expanding Force here, huh? Pelipper's faster. That's actually really important to confirm. But I don't think I KO with Psychic here. They do just Expanding Force. I was hoping the threat of Wide Guard would scare my opponent off a little bit there, but evidently not. Okay. I just, like... It's the threat of Torkoal in the back that scares me so much. But I've got hands. I honestly prefer to... this is... I just don't know what to expect from what's coming in the back. I would have been better off clicking Hydro Pump that turn. I didn't because I was afraid of a miss, and I wanted to... If they, like, messed up in Grass Terror there, that would have been punishable, but, yeah. I shouldn't have protected Pelipper there. I should have sacrificed it. I feel like I've just been kind of lost in this game. I think it's fine, actually. Hold on. Yeah, this is okay. Next turn, I'm just going to protect Rabsca. But yeah, like, I should have not protected Pelipper, like, and sacrificed it instead. Because then it's a free switch in a hand, and I can just click Psychic plus Wild Charge simultaneously. Now I'm going to burn a turn in my own Trick Room. It's just been such a weird game. Like, I didn't want to set up Trick Room because I know they have Torkoal in the back, right? Which is really awkward. But now I think I protect, and then, yeah, just give this up. You are a -1. I wonder if there's a world in which Psychic ever KOs. But I think I just protect, sack Pelipper. Yeah, this is a game of me tunnel visually into them thinking they had a specific strat when they didn't end up having it. But I feel like I had good tools to deal with this, and I just like didn't really respond accordingly. For example, I think protecting Pelipper last turn was a silly mistake. The problem is, like, now you probably have Torkoal in the back, one would think. Man, why was Infinity Armor such a hard duo for me to fight against? Like, I even brought... I think I just didn't think about how I could properly utilize Revival Blessing throughout the course of this. So, like, now I can threaten Psychic to KO you and then just Wild Charge to KO you. But the problem is I gave up Pelipper. And if you do indeed have Torkoal in the back, I just don't get my Revival Blessing off and you just change the weather. Like, I think Hands needed to just come out immediately. Yeah, I think if I were to replay this, I'd bring out Hands instead of Pelipper earlier and then just Grass Terra Hands. But then I'm at risk of an Armor Cannon, which is also awkward. I think it's probably Torkoal in the back. I guess Torkoal T-Tar would make things pretty interesting. But the problem is I just didn't get to click Revival Blessing in this game, and I let my opponent get way too many Expanding Forces off. That is T-Tar, right? Well, that is not how I expected things to play out at all. But that is a miracle. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so they didn't have Torkoal in the back. If Torkoal were in the back, I would have lost this immediately, I think. But now I actually get to click Revival Blessing. 2 turns of Trick Room left. No Terra on either end yet. Oh. I would personally like to protect here and Wild Charge into Bundle. So the reason I'm going for this is because I don't know who's gonna Terra yet, and I want to save Revival Blessing based on that. And it's actually Bundle Terraing into Ghost? Yeah, that's why I Wild Charge that slot as well. Okay, so what this means is now this next turn I can just Revival Blessing and then Drain Punch T-Tar. I guess the question is who I'm Revival Blessing, but it's probably just Gholdengo. Okay, T-Tar outspeeds me under Trick Room. That's a little scary. Drain Punch there probably would have just won me the game, but yeah, I wanted to see who Terra's. How much do I take here? Okay, that's fine. We should outspeed T-Tar unless for some reason they're Iron Ball. That'd be one heck of a way to go out as well. The other interesting debate here is, should I just consider a Terra? Because Terra Grass here makes me no, but then I take more damage from Rock Slide. The Drain Punch should KO this anyway, so I think we just go for Revival Blessing. Drain Punch into T-Tar. Okay, they're not min speed, which is at least good. I'm just worried about the flinch chance now, but if we don't flinch, then I KO T-Tar. And I heal all the way back up. I think we just heal up Gholdengo here. I lose off Rock Slide flinch here, and I think I win off no flinch. Nice. Okay. That was really scary, though. This is, like... Yeah, so the main thing that was interesting in this endgame was debating who Terras between T-Tar and the Bundle. Yeah, they ended up Freeze Drying, so if I went Grass Terra there, it actually would have worked against me. But now it's a 2v1 with Gholdengo. Nice. Revival Blessing, so nice here as an endgame tactic. Although I suppose I could have clicked Psychic there instead. Which actually would have just knocked out the Bundle. Yeah, maybe that was actually better. Just one of those interesting situations, but yeah, now Wild Charge Shadow Ball always gets the KO. Okay, Hydro into Hands. So we would have survived anyway. That recovery was huge, and that's the main thing. I think by going for Terror onto the Bundle, you allow me to heal up. But I can see the win con my opponent was playing towards, right? Because if they get that flinch, I think they actually just end up winning. Because I don't get the recovery was the main thing, and if I don't heal up, then with T-Tar in Sand plus Bundle, my Gholdengo can't get a one-hit knockout onto Tyranitar. So then the Bundle can get a KO onto the Hands with Freeze Dry. I click Make It Rain. Tyranitar survives with like 50%, and then Crunch or any Dark-type attack just KOs Gholdengo in return. So I lose that game off a Rock Slide flinch, which is pretty scary, and my opponent did a great job of recognizing that's the way to win the game, because I think a lot of players there would try to Terra the Tyranitar, and if you Terra Tyranitar, Wild Charge just KOs the bundle that turn, and since I had protected my Rabsca, then it's a 3v1 essentially against hands, and I can choose to revive either Gholdengo or Pelipper, and then hands can just like pivot out, for example, or if you're Flying Terror, just Wild Charge into Tyranitar. So yeah, I think the line that they took made a lot of sense, and it worked out if they get the flinch there. But whew, that was certainly a set of games here today. So thank you so much as always for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, these were really, really fun. It was cool to feature Rabsca in general. And thanks so much as always for joining me. Leave a like if you enjoy, and I'll catch you all next time. All right. Peace.